I am getting ready to clean up these chairs and repaint them. They've been in Ben's family, I believe it's 3 generations, and they've been several different colors. I was just flipping them and I could see one area here that really showed it off. I'm going to see if I can find it. It was so evident. Oh, right here. So this has been green, brown, white, and of course the natural. And I'm going to try to use a wire brush and get off a lot of the loose paint. I have done this in the past on another set, and what I forgot to do was the bottom. So every time we moved the chairs, loose paint on the bottom was falling. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to just use a wire brush that I have over here. I'm just going to use it on the paint, get anything that's loose, and then I'm going to use a paint primer in a satin color to start. See if I like that finish. And start with the bottom, just to give it a prime, and all of the outside that I can get to. Then once that's dried, I'll flip it and get everything that you can see with a double or triple coat. That's the plan. On this chair, I am missing a piece, and one of our fellow kindred spirits, Penelope, hi Penelope, she mentioned I could get a dowel and fix that. Now, one thing my mother always used to use is black electrical tape on our black wicker. You really couldn't see the difference. So I might actually do that. I might go find another dowel or even a stick that has a little bit of pliability to it and kind of work that in, because once I have the cushions recovered, it's not going to show anyways, but it will help the stability of these pieces. But so far, so good. This is 3 cans of paint, and I should have just focused on one, because I would have been able to completely, oh, don't blow up. I would have been able to completely cover this one and brought it inside, but I ended up wanting to also just do the underneath of the rocker. So now I have to go get, I'm going to say 3 to 5 more cans of paint, because I do want to give this one another coat just to seal in any of those little tiny chips, or hopefully seal them in. But now I'm dealing with these little chips here that I'm trying to keep the plastic from blowing up just until it hardens just enough. Going out for a Sunday afternoon drive. We're actually going to go look at a log splitter for a future purchase for Ben. We've got so many trees, he just can't keep up with doing it by hand, and it's going to save us a fortune versus buying wood. So, or versus buying a lot more. So I'm just closing up the house. Willow's water, and we're gonna go just look at wood splitters. Just looking, right? He did that, just so you know. Well, so much for just looking. Truck just got backed up, so I guess that means it's coming home with us. I guess I know what this means. Maybe kinda. Yeah, he knew. Yeah, just found out that we have this option to watch. How does it do that? I mean, how does it know? How is it getting a down view?
Magic.
Crazy. Okay, they've had several coats of paint and they have been curing outside for hours in the sun and in the wind. They're ready to go on the porch. I am on the road all day today searching for fabrics and getting some things for projects around the home, trying to eat healthier. So I stopped and got myself what do we have here? A strawberry banana smoothie, and something that I hope will last a little bit. I actually got some paper bags to put them in to keep cool, is some avocado rolls for a little bit later. That will help me from stopping somewhere else and getting something not so good to nibble on during the day. So I'm gonna go look at fabrics. I'm picking up some items. I'm doing some returns. I told Ben I'd be gone pretty much all day. So I did select some fabrics at the store. I actually just grabbed that because it reminded me of some of the napkins, and I might try this on the porch. I'm not sure, because one of the color themes that I had over at Groton House, I actually have a storyboard that shows this with the black, and that might be really pretty on the porch. I wanted to also bring in some periwinkle, so that would look good with it. But for the bench seat cushion, it's kind of hard to see this, I'm going with this that looks it's almost like a chenille. And the color is a very soft gray green. It's reading hard here, I'm sorry right now in this light, but it's very similar to the paint colors here in the kitchen and the cabinet colors. I don't have a brand, I'm sorry. I can try to ask them once I order more. But I'm getting this at New England Fabrics in Keene, New Hampshire. I also grabbed some of these. If this was in a smaller pattern, which I think they had, I was first considering this, but this pure white would get dingy really fast with willow. And then I'm also thinking that might be nice for a dust ruffle in our bedroom. I really love these checks. I also grabbed some other colors that do really well with the colors here, especially Queen Bess. I'm going to pull this over here just so you can see, some of the, like her ruff that she has. Just pulling some colors. I really was gonna go with more of a pattern on the bench seats, but I know Bess is staying, and some of the others that I tried, they fought with her, and nobody fights with Queen Bess, okay? So I'm doing this one. I'm gonna have a box cushion made with a self-welt, which means this will actually be used as the welt cord. And then I'll have some pillows made. I'll use probably some of this fabric, and then I'm gonna order some fabrics online from some of my vendors. But I just had to stop procrastinating. I just found out the windows are being delivered to our garage on May 31st. And the next day, supposedly, as long as the weather works out, they're going to start windows one by one. I'm gonna have to put a note on this window. There's baby birds in this tree here, and I'm gonna ask them to do this one last, just so that we're not disrupting mama and baby's I just want them to be big enough just to not freak out with all of the activity. But it's going to be nice. I just heard our generator go on. It goes on every Friday just for a test and to keep it going year round. So it's kind of cool. But it's going to be nice to finally look out a window right here. I'll be able to look out in the porch, and I'll actually be able to look out at the gardens, which is one reason I kept this window. I could have deleted this whole window and gave myself another wall for a piece of furniture or artwork, but it also allows us to see who's on the porch, who's at the door. It's just a nice additional window to have. And what I realized the other day, not the other day, but a while ago, this window that I found up in the barn, pretty sure it used to be where this door was. So this kitchen had 2 windows on this side wall, pretty sure, until they built the porch. I'm not sure what door they used to get out, but there was a door in the front of this building. Let's see here, there used to be a door right here. So maybe they used a front door. Well, I left with cardboard that I had to recycle after so many deliveries coming in, and I came home with lattice to finally do the tavern right. I just couldn't stick with the wallpaper, and I will tell you why in a while. But right now, I think I'm smelling Lily of the Valley. I haven't even checked to see if it's out, but something smells wonderful. Let's go see. Oh, it has to be. Yes, I see it. I knew I could smell it. They're in there. The shoots are not as tall. I don't know if that has to do with the storm, but I know what I'm going to be collecting today and putting in a little vase. We also have some of the Solomon seal there. Beautiful. And I hear crickets. A few years back, some of you may remember my little garden spoof with the lettuce and collecting it. And I did explain about collecting from the outside and working your way in, but I never really explained why. And I wanted to share how I try to remember things. I always use word association, and I think of heads of lettuce as heads of king or queens. And let me explain my weird thought here. In the center is what is called the crown. And when you're collecting lettuce, you collect it from outside in, but you never want to cut where this crown is or where it's coming from. Because if this crown goes away, your lettuce won't keep producing. It's actually going to die off. So I like to think of, if I touch the crown, I will be beheaded, as well as the lettuce will be beheaded. I know that's weird, but that's how I think of it, and that's how I remember it. So from now on, if you go play with your lettuce, think of it as a king or a queen. Don't touch the crown. These are destined for going out back, but I did this last year temporarily, and it's kind of giving me an idea of doing a little border here of plants once we redo this patio. So here's the deal. You may have seen I had some wallpaper here that looked like faux paneling. And I liked the look, but it wasn't right for the space. Ben and I lived with it for a couple days. It was a little busy, and luckily I only did this wall and this side wall. I also had a couple kindred spirits reach out in the most amazing way by saying, I trust your judgment, but are you sure you want to use that in Sugarwood or similar effects? And you know what? It was the confirmation that I needed that what I was doing was not right for Sugarwood. And I kind of knew that was the case because I could have kept going and doing the whole room. I had all the wallpaper here, but I stopped on wall number 2. And a lot of times I will do that. If something's not right, I just can't finish the project, and I assess it, I look at it, and day 4, I pulled it down. It was very easy. I was going to even videotape pulling it down, but I just did it so fast. I didn't have the camera close by or my phone close by. It just came down. And so the product, yes, is easy to remove. The product is hard to work with, a removable wallpaper. Sometimes it would stick on itself, or if I needed to adjust something at the top, you can't just kind of pull and slide. It's stuck there. So needless to say, wallpaper's gone. I'm going to do the board and batten that I did at Groton House, and we're just going to go from there. So I'm going to figure out what size I want my box, and then I'll do my outer edges first and then fill it. But I need a little more coffee because I literally jumped up this morning, 5:30. Somebody was right out front of the house making turkey calls for turkey hunting. They're not allowed to hunt right here in front of the house, so I'm not sure what they were doing. But yeah, I was a little bit late getting started, 5:30, turkey calls, and then Willow scoot them away. Good Willow. Now what I did the other day is I bought 2 different sizes of lattice strapping. This is the size that I used at Groton House, but I grabbed this just in case, and I'm glad I did. Because one thing I've shared around this house, there is baseboard molding that is all different. Now on this wall, they have this molding being used, which I did not even notice. On the opposite wall here, excuse me, Willow, on the opposite wall, I thought, oh, Ben's slippers. Let me just move those. That's how we take care of that in Willow's toy. On this wall, it's a narrower piece of molding, but then I realized all the way down going along the wall, it gets wider and wider. So they were adjusting for the crooked floor. But here on this wall and on this wall, oh, and look, my shoes now. Reality. And on this wall, there is no molding. So I will be using this larger base molding along the bottom, and I'm going to do that first. I'm going to put that up right now and get this corner done. It should be easy. Oh, why did I say that? I just jinxed myself. But anyways, I'm going to get that up now. And some of this, I could have painted it first, yes. But I like to do things the hard way. I'm going to put it up first. I'm going to seal all the cracks, caulk it, and then paint it. Because that's how I roll. I ended up doing this side first, and because I wanted to have a nice crisp end here, I didn't want to be looking at a seam, even though I'd be filling it, and then I went down the side wall. This is from the removable wallpaper coming off, to be expected. And this will be covered with trim, so I'm not even gonna have to paint that. I will have to paint where I have some lines from doing the wallpaper, but that's okay. So what I have up right now is just a guide piece. I showed a little bit below here that I didn't want to see a seam at the bottom. So I just put up this guide piece so that I would know how far out to bring this other piece when I measure. And I'm just using, like I said, it's a wider one, but that's okay. So now I know where to cut on this particular one to meet up with the other piece. Hope that makes sense. So I can really just scribe a line and cut. Of course, now it's getting ready to rain and it's getting gloomier in here. It doesn't bother me, but I'm thinking for filming purposes, what bothers me is I can't find my pencil. That's what bothers me. What did I do with it? chicken right here. Oh man. Guessing I left it in the garage. I might have to bring the cutting inside the porch if this rain comes down heavier. It looks pretty gloomy. Oops. All right. And now I'm going to make a little mark that I have this to keep. And this side is cut. I'm going to take a little break for lunch, and I'm going to make myself a smoothie. I'm going to grab my strawberries, and I keep them in an airtight container. They will last so much longer. And has anybody ever noticed when you open a container of strawberries, they always hide one in the middle that's not good? It's a thing. I know it is. And then I have one of my thrift store finds. I have several of these containers. I put our lemons and limes in here because usually they will get hidden in the fridge, get lost in the back. This way they last longer and we know where they are. So today I'm using some spinach powder and almond milk, but I also have in my cabinets wild blueberry powder and banana. These are freeze-dried, all natural, and it makes smoothie making a lot easier, and I like to pull them out when some of my fruit has maybe passed or I don't have any in stock. So here I'm just doing, I have some granola in here, my almond milk, strawberries, and some of the spinach, and it's just something I like to do every once in a while that's delicious. I'm going to take you on a little walking tour of Acton Arboretum with Willow and Ben. He's here. That's not a doggy bag. Oh yes it is. Wait a minute. One thing I appreciate is they have everything marked here in the Arboretum so that you can learn plants and trees, get ideas for your own gardens. As soon as I brought it outside, it started whirring. Pretty cool. Now it says it's not going to work right away. It's got to charge up. And this might not even be deep enough, but let's see. And now, of course, it's going to be cloudy. I can't believe it started right away. That's funny. It did say it's going to have to charge for a while, and I'm going to put it in my other bird bath that's a little deeper, but I wanted to charge it, and I just thought I'd bring this one closer to the house. But who knows, maybe it'll work good. We'll check in on this one in a while. Considering I'm just now putting this in the water, and like I said, I'm going to be putting it in a different bird bath. This has, I think I saw 6 or 8 maybe different attachments for different water, for different patterns and sounds. Not bad for not a lot of money. It's kind of fun. My thoughts is that the hummingbirds will like this and the birds might like it. And it also gives the bees a little place to land versus going right on the water. They can land right in the middle there. And so can Willow's duck Frederick. Well, it is day 2 of trying the little water fountain. I had it in the metal bird bath and the birds loved it, but the sound was a little bit muted, if that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying it now in the ceramic one that I first tried it in when it was down on the ground. Right now, the sun is starting to come up over the trees, and it's starting to get to the water fountain, so it's pulsing. It's actually kind of pulsing like a heartbeat. It's alive. So I'll let you know this right now. Every time a cloud would come, it would stop. Every time the sun would come out, it would start. So at one point, I'm hoping to get an electrified fountain somehow out here. If I dig something underground, I'm not sure. But that will be the plan. I have irises that are just about ready to open. The peonies are going to pop within a few days. They're usually open by our wedding anniversary, which is June 4th. So we are right on schedule. I think I'm seeing a little Rosa rugosa opening up here. I'm not sure. Yes, so this tree, this rose plant did very well. It came back. Over here, not so much. I had to do a lot of clearing. Unfortunately, so many broken branches. So many. And there's a few up here that were burnt, but I can also see, oops, I'm sorry, you can't see that. But there's also some little buds, and I don't know if those are buds that were starting that froze, but I'm leaving those alone. The goal is anyway to trim this one to the height of this one on the left, just to give it a chance to catch up. So, but this one's very sparse this year. I'm so sad. So many people lost roses in this area. But the gardens are getting there. I'm so excited. I still have a lot of labor ahead of me. This garden I'll be working on, and I showed, I believe, already in a video. I'm tackling this one with the knapweed and the mint. And I'm going to try to make this more of a cutting flower garden, but we'll see. And on a quick note regarding the arch, I had a kindred spirit make a suggestion of PVC pipe in the ground. Loved that idea. In the middle of a night that I was unable to sleep, it was just one of those nights, I was thinking about putting the PVC, and then another thought hit me. These posts are held in by post holders that we just hit in the ground with a sledgehammer, and they have a big square opening. I'm going to do that, I believe, on either side of the fence post to start the arch, and then I can get rid of the tall posts. Well, actually, I'll need to leave some of the tall posts because that's what's helping them hold the shape until they cure. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to use fence post holders that have the hole. I can set the sticks in there, and little by little, I can add more and more. So I'm going to try that at one point and see how it goes. Unfortunately, our gates are no longer working because the walls shift so much, and they've actually hit a lot of the fence posts in area, just like what happened at the front of our house. So this is what happens when do-it-yourselfers do it. You can see that the second rock down on the left, it moved the post. But we also did this as kind of a temporary fix because we're still not sure what we're doing here. If the garage is coming down with a new garage, second floor, and if we do that, we will be connecting the house to the garage, which I just learned is called a hyphen. Go figure. Like connecting two words. It's connecting two parts of a property. I learned that by watching, I believe it was a Schumacher YouTube show. I'm going to link that below. It was a house in Williamsburg that I really, really loved. So yeah, someday we might have a hyphen here. Who knows? I still have a few plants over here I have to plant as well. I have a lot of plants to plant. Just got to make the time. But I'm trying to balance work and play and outdoor gardening with the indoor projects. Yeah, I need to multiply. All right, so this little fountain, it has some quirks to it. I ended up taking off one of the filters that can make it spray outward because when it does get going, it sprays so much out because of the distance that it can go. This bird feeder is too small. So this is for the birds, this is for the bees. They can get a little sip of water. I'm not sure how long it will last. We'll see. Testing it out here. But I do like the sound of it. The sun finally made it over the treetops. I wanted to share with you another pre-loved thrifted find. I needed something for our expandable hose. Look at my weeds, yay. I can't wait till we do this over. This is gonna be exciting. But anyways, this hose holder I found at Twin Elm Farm during their garden event, and I grabbed it right away. For a couple years, I have put our hose in a basket, and I loved the concept, but one of our hoses is the expandable type hose, and if I didn't remember to take the hose out first and then turn the water on, I would turn the water on with the hose in the basket, and the basket expanded and it cracked my basket. So it was a great thought. Did it for a couple years, but then I had to kind of once again wave the white flag and stop that idea because I didn't remember to take the hose out first. But the concept is great. So if you don't have an expandable hose and you're looking for an easy fix, you can just put your hose in a basket and hide it. I'll probably do that out front because I don't have to pull the hose out far to get some of the plants, but nope, didn't work for me here. So I have two wisteria plants that were left here with the property, and unfortunately they were under the patio here, so I really can't get to them. But I have blooms, and what I'm going to do is try to get this to climb on something right now. There's also one over behind the chair that is definitely underneath the wall, so that will have to be done when we start working on this patio. I don't know if that one will be savable. This particular one, I may try to do this over by my garden gate. I don't know what the color is. Or I might put this over in the backyard. I just don't know if I want it here, right so close to the house. That's my only concern, but I was very pleased to see that it does have some life, because this had to be cut down a couple times when some other work was being done here on the house. So that is another project I'll have to do another day. On Friday morning, playing out in the garden, then I went inside, did housework, but then later in the afternoon, Ben and I headed over to one of the places we play golf at, and we were part of a 9 and dine where we play 9 holes, and then we go to dinner with the rest of the group, and it was so much fun. I need to get these filled fast. Took them down and the hummingbirds are looking for their water.